Good day, my esteemed viewers. It's my pleasure to welcome you once again to your Change Inspiring program, the Voice of Change Network International. It is a program that is designed to promote positive change in our world. It's a program that is designed to celebrate good people, celebrate good works, and promote the kingdom of God, its systems and values on earth. Today we shall be looking at a very, very interesting topic. The topic is the reality of a peaceful world. Is it possible for us to have a world that is free of violence? Is it possible for us to have a world that is free of crime? Taking into cognizance a whole lot of things that are happening in our world today. There are wars everywhere. The menace of terrorism, crime and violence everywhere in the world. Was this the world that God created? Was this the world that our Maker created? Of course, this was not the world. What went wrong? How come that man cannot live harmoniously with one another? These are some of the issues we are going to be discussing. But I'm not going to do that alone because I have eminent personalities. I have with me agents of change. Men that are passionate about change in our world. It's my pleasure to introduce to you, from my right, Mr. Princewill, Inegbenose.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome to the program.
It's a privilege to be here.
Now, on my right is a young Nigerian, a young man that is passionate about change in our world. He is Mr. Ernest Okereke. Ernest,
Sir?
you are welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I want to just lay a background. And that has to do with the fact that taking into cognizance what is happening in our world today. Because the Bible tells me that in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, and of course He created all that things in the world, the Bible says that God Himself acknowledged what He created. And He said to Himself, wow, this is good. Now, if you juxtapose the world that God created in the beginning with what is happening in our world today, there is hunger, disease, war, countries fighting against each other. There is the menace of terrorism. There is crime. There is violence that is seriously rocking the world. Would you say that this is the world that God created? What has gone wrong? What is happening? I'm sure you have something to say in this regard.
Yes, I have. I'm just shocked because you look at the world that God created and you start imagining what is going on. Where are we getting it from? I think man is trying to do what he did not start. He's trying to organize what he did. It's just like when a manufacturer makes a product. You the consumer begins to try to rearrange without knowing very much about the product. It's like you make errors, you make mistakes. So I think the problem we are having, peace is possible. A peaceful world is possible. If God could create it and say we are gods, it's possible for us to create a peaceful world. But do we have the will? Can we leave our pride, our human nature, and look for how to have a peaceful world? I think the solution is simple. If you can look less on yourself, look and respect the next person more than you respect yourself, I think you have a better world.
In addition to what you have said, because I've actually meditated seriously on this topic, the reality of a peaceful world. And God was just speaking to me, and He said, in the beginning, it was not so. And of course, you have rightly alluded to the fact that the manufacturer of every product is the one that designed the instructional manual. Yes, I have seriously meditated on the topic that we're discussing, the reality of a peaceful world. And as I was meditating, God spoke to me and said, look, in the beginning, it was not so. God created a perfect and a peaceful world. The reason why the world is experiencing crisis today, he said, is because man has decided to live in disobedience, complete disobedience to the natural laws that God has put in place to govern, to create order and peace in the world. Because lack of peace is a manifestation of disorder.
Yes. It's a direct expression of anger.
Yes, yes. A manifestation of disorder. Now I want to lay a background. Everything that God has created, the manufacturer, there are laws that govern this world, that create order. For instance, everything operates in accordance to the laws, natural laws of God. The sun has been mandated by God to rise from the east and set in the west. There is a natural law of sowing and reaping. In other words, if you put a grain of seed into the soil, it will germinate, it will grow and bear fruit. There are laws. There are laws that have been discovered by the scientists. The law of gravity. The law of gravity says that whatever goes up must come down. It is that law that enables us to, otherwise as we are seated here now, we'll just be floating. These are laws. Now, one of the laws that God has put in place to ensure that there is harmonious relationship among humanity is what we call the law of love. That law of love is what humanity has infringed upon. The law of love simply is this. It connotes that you are not created for yourself. You are created to connect, to get connected to each other.
Yes.
It's the law of love. Now what happens is that God, who is the owner of all lives and who is the source of all provision, He ensures that deliberately that we should be connected to each other in love so that His provision will flow from one person to the other. So in establishing the background for the reason why we have crisis in the world is simple. Humanity has refused to get connected to one another in love. I'm sure, Brother Princewill, you want to throw more light on what I've said.
I have something to say. I believe before I go on, I know peace could mean different things to different people. But when I'm talking about peace, I'm going to speak about true peace. True peace means the uniqueness of God. Because it pains me when I look at situations around and the way the world is going. In my heart, I cried. I said, because in the beginning, it was not so. Before the entrance of evil, there was peace and joy throughout the world. But it is because of evil that God sent His only begotten Son, just for peace to reign, just for peace to dominate the world. just for peace to rule the world. That is why he gave his only begotten Son, so that man will experience peace. But today, it is not so. But what we are seeing today is evil, terrorism, oppression everywhere. But the peace that we desire, the peace that we need, it is possible if we can go back to the source. Who is the source? The creator of life, the giver of life. If we walk with him, if we know, yes, this man is, the Almighty God is sending his only begotten Son for us to live. Because God is a God of love. Because why? He's not a God of destruction. Because he said, I sent my only begotten Son. Remember what Jesus said himself? He said, I came so that they will have life. Not just life, but they will have it more abundantly. But that's not what we are seeing today. But the government of this world has given, the government of this world has taken over. So men are not in peace. You understand? What we are experiencing today is the government of this world, not the government of God. But if we allow the government of God to reign, that peace will definitely reign. So what we just have to do, let's enthrone the government of God so that we enjoy the peace of God.
Okay, thank you so much for that beautiful contribution. Now, I want to look at the futile, I would say the futile effort that has been made by humanity to engender peace in the world. And of course, I looked at all the effort that they have made and the futility of the effort that they are making to restore peace. And I just laugh. Because, I mean, man thinks in his own wisdom that he can create peace in the world through the use of guns, armory. Man thinks that he can create peace in the world through the defective security systems that man has put in place. And I make bold to say, and this is very, very, very key. Until man, you just said it, until we retrace our step back to our Creator, until humanity acknowledges the fact that the systems they have put in place cannot deliver peace to the world, until they admit their failure and begin to seek for an alternative, a more supreme option, until they understand the fact that they need to align themselves to the laws that God has put in place, especially the law of love. It will be very, very difficult for the world to achieve peace. Now, the point I was making is this. Man thinks that through the use of gun, for instance, they can stop crime. Man has failed to realize that people commit crime in their heart.
That's the point.
True crime is committed in the heart of men. Violence, it is in their heart that people manufacture evil. So when you buy more guns and ammunition, you equip security people that are not even they're not omnipresent, they're not everywhere. They are not everywhere, and you think that will guarantee peace and stability. It's a futile effort. Now you know why? In spite of all the sophistication of the security systems of the world, the more the security system gets sophisticated, the more evil multiplies, the more violence we have, the more wars that are fought, the more terrorism that we have, the more armed robbers we have terrorizing us, the more evil that we have. Now, man has failed to realize that there is a powerful force that can stop evil in the heart of men. And that force is the force of love. The force of love.
You generally speaking, I would say that the main statement there is crime is committed in the heart.
In the heart of men.
And the more sophisticated the security gadgets are,
the more they design,
yes, the crime becomes. Because they are all only operated by man.
Yes.
The same man you're trying to protect from attacking you, you are still using the same man to protect another man from attacking you.
Exactly.
They have same minds.
Exactly.
Yes. They have same mind. It's a matter of getting the mind of the person that is protecting you. It turns against you.
That's it. That's it.
If I can get the mind of the man who you say should protect you, he will be the one to kill you.
Yeah. Now, let me even shock you, Ernest. Do you know that when we allow the force of love, okay, when we allow the force of love to dominate the heart of men, the world will not have any need to manufacture guns.
Yes.
When we allow the force of love to dominate the heart, because it's a very potent force. I'm just amazed that society in their wisdom, they quote, they have created an unjust system, and they feel that the unjust system that they have created will guarantee peace. It cannot. Can you imagine we live in a world where over 80% of our populace, they are poor? In Nigeria, as we speak, over 70% are poor. They live below poverty line. Now we are told that the resources of this country is controlled by less than 5% of our population. An unjust system.
Wicked system.
Wicked system.
Wicked system.
Now we have a government in place, and we are told that the whole essence of government is to ensure the welfare and the well-being of all and sundry. But here we have a government that is interested in embezzling the resources and the wealth that belong to all. And yet we believe that we can achieve peace. It's not possible. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. I'm sure you're nodding your head. Maybe you have something to contribute in that regard.
I think this is a true message. You understand? I think it's just, this message is coming to the viewers at the right time. It's an information they need. It's an inbuilt thing. It's in us. But we have to nurture it. How? By getting this right information. How? By listening to this voice that are speaking. Not just the voice of men, but you are hearing the voice of God. Because why are you listening to the voice of God? Because in your environment, you are an agent of change. You understand? As you are getting this information, no matter what has been going on in your mind, no matter what the enemies or no matter what the people want to use you to do, you cannot change your mind to say, no, this is not what I'm created for. Yes. I'm not created to destroy lives. You understand? I'm not created to be a terrorist. I'm created to live a meaningful life. You understand? So if we have this information, the peace, the love that God has created in us, I think as we nurture it with the true information, with the truth of God, with the words of God that are coming up as we are hearing the word now, I believe that one will make us to change and live a lifestyle of God. When we live a lifestyle of God, there will be peace.
I have something to contribute to that too. I think, or I believe that if we humans can have a heart to change, like believe in change, wherever you find yourself, be that agent, be that person. When the politician that kept you in poverty for 4 years comes up and tells you, now it's time for you to vote for me, okay, don't worry, do my work for me, I'll give you some amount of money. You tell him, no, the money is not what I serve.
You stand on the part of truth.
Money should serve you.
On part of truth and righteousness.
Money. They want to keep you in poverty. You believe that you are serving money. You don't serve money. Money should serve you. The government is provided, is supposed to be a government that is absolute power belongs to the people. Not a government that owns property. The government is nobody's house. It's nobody's property. It's the people's property. You came to meet the government, and you will die and leave the government.
That's true.
That seat you occupy today is not your house. No matter how you do it, you will definitely leave it.
One day.
Many has done it. At the end of the day, they died in the process. That is it. So you should just know that you are there as a caretaker for the moment. And who are you caretaking? The people. The people who will sing your praise after you leave the seat. Just like a father. He said the best legacy a father should leave for the children is education. Why education? Because that's the only thing that he will always refer to and remember. He would always refer to that whatever I am today, because my father forced me to do this. My father had forced me to go to school. My dad, my own personal dad, used to beat me to read. Because I was very playful. They used to beat me for me to read 2 times or 2. I had to do it till 20 times.
And today you are better off.
And today I don't think of it. If you just tell me 6 times, I give you the answer because I know I was feeling weak. I was feeling he was wicked. But he knew what he was working on. So we should have a government that looks at the future of the people. You don't know how much wealth you can amass. The wealth, the money, actually, if you look at the world, you want peace. You are not safe. By the time you break that gap of love to the next person, you are not safe. Your children are not safe. Take them to the best schools around the world. They will come back to their fatherland and suffer the evil that you have created.
Well, sorry, sir, let me quickly say something. I think
in conclusion,
let me quickly say something. I believe, you understand, all we just have to do is let's preach the message of love. Let love be the language. You understand? If we can preach the message of love, at least your father was able to correct you in love. Yes. But today you are better off. So no matter the deed, no matter what the enemy has done, you understand, I think we can still make the wrongs right by preaching the message
and practice love.
Practice love.
Practice love. That's just the thing.
Yeah, my esteemed viewer, I hope you have followed us closely, and of course you have listened to some of the postulations and advice that we are given to the world, that we help the world to engender peace. My personal conclusion, and of course looking at how we can achieve or actualize, the reality of a peaceful world, I honestly think that humanity needs to retrace their steps back to their maker. And of course, they need to recognize fully the law of harmonious relationship among humanity, and that is the law of love. So my viewer, I know you are listening to this, you are watching and listening to this broadcast. My admonition to you is that by your action or inaction, you are contributing directly or indirectly to the crisis and the violence that has engulfed the world. You ask me how? You know how? God has created you to live in love to your neighbor. But here you are. God has blessed you so much with resources. God has even elevated you. You are holding a political position as a governor, as a senator, as a president, or whatever. But the blessings that God has given to you, and He expects you to be a blessing to others, you have not done that in love. Don't you know that if God's provision does not flow through you to others, what happens is that you are creating a disorder, and that disorder will lead to lack of peace in the world. So my admonition to you, because this responsibility of creating peace in the world is not for the government alone, that means the Okereke government. No. It is an individual responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
If you do good to others, the force of good is powerful. If you do good to others, what happens is that you leave a footprint in their heart. The person I do good to can never come and do me evil. The problem that we have in the world today is that we have less of good people doing good. And that is the reason why we have the crisis, the violence, the terrorism in the So my admonition to you, my dear viewers, my dear listeners, is for us to decide today that I want to live a life that will be a blessing to others. Because if I don't do that, God is going to hold me accountable. If I don't become a blessing to others, I am contributing directly or indirectly to the crisis that has engulfed the world.
Yeah.
I think we're going to stop here because we're going to be having a series of this life-changing program courtesy of the Voice of Change Network, an organization that is designed with a mandate to propagate the kingdom values that will guarantee peace and stability in the world. So until I come your way again, my name is Gregory Azemobor. But I will not go without appreciating my fellow comrades in the Lord. I think I'm allowed to use that. Mr. Princewill Inegbenose said it's a pleasure having you on the program. Mr. Princewill Inegbenose is a member of the Voice of Change Network, and of course again Mr. Ernest Okereke. These are agents of change. We believe that together we will make the world a better place. Peace. Have a wonderful day.